Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of the How to Build a Game Studio podcast. I am Trevor Oz, and this week we are joined by every single person in the studio, from Kent, Jack, Moudy, and Boo. And we will be talking about E3, the Electronic 3. We talk about Kent actually going to the event this year, and why we would go to an event like that as an indie studio that doesn't have a game to show. So we get into that a bit, and then we all get to talk about the games that we're looking forward to after seeing them at E3 this year. And I think ours will match up with a lot of yours. And we get to do some good discussion about it this week, so have a listen. All right, everybody, welcome to How to Build a Game Studio. I'm Trevor Oz. I am joined by the whole damn studio today, which we'll start with Kent.
Hooray! I'm the whole damn studio.
No, there's more than you. There's more than you. We have Moudy as well.
Hey.
Now that he's caught his breath. Just breathe a little bit, Moudy. Just breathe. We have Jack Steele.
What's up, guys?
And we have Boo.
Hello.
What's up, Boo?
How come Boo is the only one who gets that intro? It's like, Boo! Everybody else is just whatever.
You just can't say it normal.
Damn, you're right. It's Boo!
Ever since you guys gave me the name, nobody's been able to say it normal.
We didn't give it to you. God gave it to you.
Oh, he did. I forgot.
Yeah, it's something easy to forget.
Plus, I just like Boo better than you guys.
Oh, I see how it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
I hate you, Trevor.
So now that we've started the hate cast, let's talk about all the games that we... Wait, hang on. We're going to talk about E3 for 2019. And Kent actually went to E3 this year. And I know a lot of people are going to ask, well, why would he go to E3 when we don't have a game to show or anything? But there's more to E3, I think, than that. So, Kent, why did you go to E3?
Just hanging out, seeing what was going on. No, actually, so the main reason was it definitely doesn't get as much kind of press because it's not really a forward-facing thing, but it's just a great networking opportunity and a chance to catch up with other devs, other publishers, people that I've worked with in the past, just kind of like keeping that network of, I hate to use the term network of industry professionals because it sounds so like stuck up, but kind of keeping that network alive, meeting some new people. I talked to some different indies, and so that was really cool. So those were kind of the main reasons to go down, and also it's from a gamer standpoint, it's really cool to check out a lot of new games, see if there's any new trends or anything coming around. So kind of 50% business, 50% pleasure.
So how was E3 for you this year?
I liked it. It was good. I always enjoy going. There was some kind of weird behaviors this year that I didn't notice before. So, for example, some of the lines, the way they would work is you would go and get essentially like a ticket or, sign up for a spot, which is fine, and a lot of things do that. But a couple of them this year, once they usually stagger how people get in. So press and industry can get in right in the morning, and then gamers come in a little bit later in the afternoon, which has been the way it's worked for a while, which is cool. But they did something strange where once the gamers got in, they wouldn't let any industry people sign up any longer. So like I went with a friend to sign up and check out a game, but it was, I don't remember the exact time, we'll say 12:02, and the gamers came in at 12. And apparently right at 12, they just cut off all industry people. So I wasn't able to see some things, and I thought that was a really weird way of handling it rather than just opening it up to everyone at 12. But
Yeah, you would
aside
think
from
they would
that,
just add you to the add those people into the queue and you know that sort of thing. That's an odd way to do it. I've heard it's been odd. It was kind of a weird year, as far
it
as like that
was.
sort of stuff.
I feel like it's still trying to kind of figure out what it wants to be.
Yeah,
Like it's kind of it's stuck somewhere in the middle of GDC, which is fully development, and something like PAX, which is kind of fully consumer. And they haven't quite figured out what they want to do. A lot of people dropped out this year, I think, just because it's so expensive to get a booth there. Like, there's actually, generally speaking, not a huge indie presence there, unfortunately. Like PAX, for example. There's usually like one kind of booth, which is it's not the indie mega booth, but it's something similar where it's like the group of indies down in that area get together and make one booth. And then Microsoft actually did a pretty good job this year of showcasing a lot of indies in their area in the Microsoft Theater. And they usually have it set up where like you go, you wait in line, but once you get into kind of the play area, it's just a bunch of free stations. You can go around and play whatever you want. So I really like those setups because you can go in and just kind of play a few different games. And, like I'll get to it later when we get to that point, but I got a chance to check out a couple of games that I weren't really on my radar or were on my radar, but I didn't expect to get hands-on time with them. And then I came out of the show really excited about them. So I hope more people kind of adopt that free play methodology for shows like this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the way they're going with the show. I mean, I'm glad that someone like Microsoft is still showcasing a good place for indies, at least that in their theater, but I mean, if the theater is that close to the convention center, it's kind of hey, we own this thing, why don't we just do it here? So I mean, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, I'm very curious if it's going to end up staying in LA or not. I mean, it hasn't always been in LA, but I've heard more and more rumors about it possibly moving location, which will more than likely make it much cheaper for people to showcase, because anything in LA is just automatically way more expensive no matter what it is. So
yeah, I mean, I think it'll depend on where they want to take it. Because if it's someplace like San Francisco or something, it's going to have the same problem.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it really just depends. Do you think in our future it'll ever matter for us to show something at E3?
I would highly doubt for us specifically that we will ever have like a booth to showcase there, unless, somehow we blow up way bigger than I would imagine. But if we were to ever showcase anything there, I suspect it would be through kind of a partner or a publisher type deal where they were showcasing some different games and then we were showcasing there. But I mean, who knows? Like, if E3 is looking at ways to kind of re-energize interest in the event, they can look at PAX, which has things like the Indie Mega Booth, which makes it affordable for smaller companies to actually showcase there. And I think that would be a great direction to take it, especially with how many indie devs are out there. You can't rely on just one group to really showcase an event that's supposed to put the entire industry forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's funny that you mentioned PAX, because I think the company that owns PAX almost bought E3, like the name and everything, to actually run it.
Was this like recently, or this was like a while ago?
Fairly recently.
Huh.
But yeah, I think they were, at least they were in talks to it. I think whatever happened fell through. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see where they would have went with it, especially since it was such an industry event and now they're trying to do the consumer thing. So it's kind of like in a weird limbo, so to speak.
Yeah, there were some weird things that, for example, some of the biggest booths there didn't have anything to do with games. There was like an energy drink booth there that was massive, and it was just, showcasing this new energy drink. And it kind of makes sense. Energy drink gaming, I guess I can kind of see the connection, but it was just weird to see this huge spectacle. And they're like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then you go over and they're like, have a free energy drink.
Hmm.
You gotta keep your energy up, man.
I mean, I'm
It's
definitely
E3.
not upset that I got a free energy drink because I was pretty dead by the second day. But
What was the quality of the energy drink?
standard energy drink, I think. Like they all kind of, aside from a few small ones that there's a very small percentage that I'm like, oh, that's actually good. Like I really like Kickstart, but
Drink 'em.
generally, yeah, generally they all fall in that. Oh, it's an energy drink. It tastes like crap. It gives me caffeine.
Pretty much,
category.
yeah. I think in recent years, though, there's been certain brands that have done some good stuff to actually make a few that actually taste good. So, like you said, Kickstart. There's like certain lines of Monster that I like. Not all of them though, because some of them just taste terrible. But
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Well, if once we get sponsored by one of the energy drink companies and we become an extreme version of ourselves, then we'll just be like, this energy drink is the best.
hey, man, you know what devs need? They need energy.
They really do.
And what best to provide the energy than blank
Oh yeah.
energy drink? This
See,
is
there's
an
our
ad
commercial.
read. Sponsor us.
Please contact Trevor at winterborngames.com. He'll take care of sorting through our hundreds of applications for being the next energy drink spokespeople.
Next time, if we ever do anything on video, we have to wear sunglasses because our eyes are all like just bulging, like,
They're all
So-
bloodshot.
oh yeah, just like going there.
Why did we all become Macho Man Randy Savage?
I
I
don't
was
know.
just wondering that, yeah.
Take up lots of energy.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I would drink a Macho Man Randy Savage energy drink.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, just too much energy.
Exact cream of the crop.
I would only drink it if it was actually called, though, Monster Man. God, I can't even say it now. Monster Man? God damn it.
Monster Man.
I had too much energy drink and it broke my brain. Macho Man Randy Savage energy drink. Like, that has to all be on the bottle.
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm sure his family owns the likeness, so I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
All right, well, there's your idea. Contact us for all of, Randy Savage's family that listens to this podcast. I'm sure they're
Yeah.
out there.
I mean, honestly, we'll just take a sponsorship from Randy Savage. So
Yeah,
this
pretty
is
much.
sponsored by the Macho Man.
Sounds good to me. What the hell was this podcast about now?
I don't even know anymore. I don't know what we're doing here. So was there anything else interesting at E3 other than the games that we'll talk about here in a bit?
Yeah, I mean, aside from what I had mentioned, there wasn't anything too new or unusual that I could think of. There were a few interesting technologies there. They usually have like a little area where they're showcasing, rather than a specific game, they're showcasing some kind of new technology. A lot of times in years past, it's been middleware, but since Unity and Unreal have almost entirely killed the middleware market, it's now just kind of like unusual or strange peripherals that might be there. So the one that comes to mind is it was this haptic feedback kind of setup, and then you would put on a VR headset, and they had this kind of simplistic gunslinger duel game that they had on, and it was cool because when you'd get shot, the vest that you wore had a whole bunch of different sensors on it that would kind of vibrate wherever you got hit, and you had this this wristband you put on your arm, so whenever you shot, there was a little bit of recoil to the gun. And it was pretty cool. I mean, it was nice to see. It was trying to address that kind of missing part of VR where at the end of the day, right now, it's just kind of strapping a screen to your face. It's not really, at least in my opinion, it's not really the immersive experience that I think most people really want, but it was starting to kind of address how that could be in the future. So it was really cool to see things like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is like pretty interesting. I want to see where the future of VR stuff can go, because I think it's cool right now, but I don't think it's like one of those things where I'm like, I need to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely needs some more immersion before it kind of becomes that experience we're looking for, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going in the right direction, like the haptic feedback stuff that you got to check out, and just like the Quest headset that is cord free is a good step.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that limits people when they have the cords tied to everything.
I do think it's one of the things I'm glad that they do encourage, and it's good to hear that you're saying that they're continuing the research, because I feel like VR is one of those things like you said, once we get to that next step, whatever exactly it is, and like you're saying, all those extra things like being cordless and those things, and it becomes almost very accessible to even like essentially like I feel like what the Wii did to like everybody who wasn't a gamer. Like if VR becomes something like that, it could be that thing in the long run. Like it'll be that thing that's like here to stay and be like amazing. But I feel like it's gonna take a while, and I hope they keep supporting it till it gets there.
Yeah, once we can jack into the Matrix, then we're all good.
I think right now there's just a huge barrier to entry because you need a computer that has a lot of power, and then a headset that's tied to it. So it's not easy for everybody to throw down money for that.
And I don't know if like I know they were constantly working on this, but like I'm one of those people that like I'm having fun until like I've had issues where things will happen and like it immediately does a thing where I get disoriented, and like the best way to explain is like I feel dizzy. Like I just get so dizzy after a while. So I hope that's one of the things I know they're trying to solve too. I don't know if you guys ever had that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely get some
sickness is
motion
pretty common.
sickness. It's pretty blah.
Yeah, and like for me, I'll have it all day. It's like the best way to describe it's like having a hangover you never asked for. I was like, I never wanted this.
What hangovers do you ask for?
Well, I mean, I guess you're right. It's more like like yeah, fair point.
He didn't get the fun of the alcohol first.
I'm sorry to hear that. Clearly, the answer is to drink a lot, then play VR, then get sick. Those are the steps.
That just sounds like a bad combination.
Exactly right. It's like it was bound to happen.
It was guaranteed
to
make you sick. Was there anything else, Kat?
No, I mean, aside from a couple specific games, like I said, I'll mention when we kind of get to the point of what we're looking forward to. I think that covers most of it. Like the rest was just more personal stuff from my end, making some contacts or meeting up with some old friends and going over, how things are going. It was actually really cool. I'm not sure if I told you guys previously or not, but met up with a lot of people that I used to work with in Infinity Ward, and finding out that a couple of them actually listened to the podcast was really, really rewarding because, it just proves it's at least somebody outside our moms that listen to the podcast. So
thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
And all the IW peeps listening.
Definitely. And my mom doesn't even listen, so.
What? Man, next time I'm home for Christmas, we're going to have a chat.
You'll have to get on her for it. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into the topic of the show here. We're going to talk about the games that we're excited coming out of E3, where there was a lot of cool stuff shown this year. So let's start with Jack Steele. What do you got?
All right. There were a few things that like I sort of expected to be there, but I was still excited to see like more content on them. Like Gears 5 was a pretty big one for me because I just love the whole Gears series.
Yep, same here.
And then some other ones like the whole Halo Infinite announcement. Well, not announcement, but it being announced that it's going to be a launch title alongside Scarlet. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I'm always down for more Halo. I mean, it seems like they're going in a story direction with it. I mean, but really we don't know what the game's gonna be like as of now, other than Halo. So I'm interested to see more. Anything else that jumps out to you, Jay?
Yeah, some of the other cool ones were like the whole Fallout 76. They're like it's sort of like a battle royale, like PvP PvE mode, the nuclear winter. That one I actually tried it out because they released it like on the same day that they announced it, and it was a lot of fun. And it actually gained enough like momentum and had enough success that they ended up just keeping it open and keeping it as a game type.
Oh, nice. Nice, that's really cool.
I really like when they announce things and release them either immediately or shortly after. That's always like, I think it's become a little, it's not as surprising as it used to be because they do it a lot now, and they often do it for things that are just like, okay, here's a small update and it's available now. But like when they do it right, it's a really cool, really kind of meaningful thing instead of, oh, here's this thing that's going to launch in 2025. Good luck.
Well, yeah, whenever they like this year when they announced the collection of mana that had the translation for Seiken Densetsu 3. That was a surprise. And then they just released it right then from after Nintendo's Direct. So I was really surprised to see that because I know that's something that a ton of people, like even some of my friends that I know, were super excited for that and have been waiting for that for years. So it's really cool when you see those announcements.
I'm sort of torn now because I'm always that kind of guy when I see a game like that because I never got a chance to play, but I've always wanted to. But now I'm like, am I gonna be that guy? I'm like, should I play the original or should I just play this one? Because I'm like, it's just a redone version of it, right? So I'm like, I should just play this one.
Well, what they did is they re-released the old one with a new translation, and then they're also remaking it. So the remake isn't out yet, but the old one with the translation is out now.
That's not confusing at all.
Yeah, that was super
totally
confusing at the
that.
time. It definitely was because both of them were called Trials of Mana, and you were like, what? So,
Yeah,
but that's Square Enix for you.
Yeah, they need to work on their the clarity of announcements sometimes.
Yeah, maybe not announce them both at the same time. Maybe just announce that the translation is there, but that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, anything else you can think of, Jack?
One of the biggest ones for me, it's probably just because it was so surprising and caught me off guard, but it was the announcement of Phantasy Star Online 2. I absolutely loved playing the first one on the 360. Like Kent and I played that a ton, and I'm pretty excited for the new one. I won't be able to like play it as much as I played the last one, obviously, but it's still going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I was super shocked to see that because that thing's been out in Japan since 2012, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never expected it to come over here. So,
let alone on Xbox first.
yeah, that was definitely a weird and interesting one, but yeah, I might have to check that out myself because I'm curious to see how it is. So anything pop out to you, Boo?
You ready for my answer, Trevor?
Yeah, I am.
I got one for you.
Man, I'm excited to hear what this is. Build up like
go
that.
on.
Battletoads.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I haven't played Battletoads in forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm going to get so pissed on the stupid freaking...
The rides. What are they called? The right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
that
exactly
game
what
was
you're talking
hard.
about.
And let's see, the other one was Age of Empires 2.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited about that, the redo of
Yeah.
AE2.
So those are pretty much the main two that I'm mainly interested in.
Yeah. I grew up playing a ton of Age of Empires, so I'm always excited when they do new Age of Empires stuff, and I'm glad they're starting to actually do it again.
Right.
Because for so long it's been abandoned, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that too. And yeah, as someone that used to work at GameStop, the fact that they're actually bringing out a Battletoads game is pretty fantastic.
Wait. It's by GameStop? Did you say that?
No, so there used to be a thing.
It's like, what? It's like...
There used to be a thing where it was like an internet thing where people would call GameStop and ask if they had Battletoads in stock. Even though it hadn't been released on like a modern system in like years at that point. So like, no, we don't have Battletoads was always the answer.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, how
I
often
would have
did you
told
get
them
those?
yes. They're like, oh yeah, we got 3 copies.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I wish I would have worked there when they did the I think it's on Rare Replay. So I could be like, well, yeah, we actually do have it in stock. It's on blah blah blah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's also about the lamest crank call in the history of crank calls.
it very much is. Like, oh, you guys got Battletoads.
That's like, yeah, like your like noob guide to like prank calls. Like you think you're doing some real bad. Like, I'm gonna call about Battletoads.
This will really piss them off.
Yeah,
But for some stupid reason, it became like this big thing on the internet.
It's a
I think
strange place.
It's beautiful. It's poetry.
Well, I haven't played that game in for like years, to where I honestly don't even remember what the storyline was for the old ones, but I remember the music like it was yesterday.
I don't think
like
you
you're
need
an
to
audio
remember the
guy.
storyline.
I feel like you weren't just supposed to save somebody, but like I got a question for you, Boo. Did you beat the game though?
I did beat the game, yeah.
Oh wow!
I just
dude.
remember when you would swing around and kick stuff, and like their feet would just get massive when they would just slam into something.
I remember. Yeah, I used to think they just got like they had like stretchy powers. Like I thought that was like a thing that was like in the story. It's like somehow I just never picked up. I'm like they clearly stretch or something. I was like,
Stretch Armstrong Battletoad crossover.
yeah, exactly. I thought like they must be like toys or something. I don't know how they're doing this. It's like
I think that's just how they stylized it. Like it's. But I always thought those games were fun. It was a good side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yep.
From back in the day.
I don't think this one got as much like attention because I mean Battletoads, like it's Battletoads, but like apparently I heard on the floor on E3 and maybe Ken, I don't know if you saw, but like Streets of Rage has a remake too, or not? It's not a remake, but it's like Streets of Rage from Sega Genesis. Is like they had another one where it's like all HD too and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think I saw the booth, but I didn't have a chance to actually check it out. I remember walking by and seeing like Streets of Rage, like a sign for it, but it was pretty nuts. Just in general, trying to find things and get in line to see things.
Mm.
Well, Moody, looks like we're to you. What did you see that
What's going to be your next oxygen,
my
Moudy?
oxygen? Oh, well, no, but there was a trailer from Software. No, but
it was coming.
We're just going to ban you from talking about From Software on the podcast going forward.
Just might have to, dude. Well, there's the writer who wrote a little book called Game of Thrones and a little sitcom. I don't know if you know about it, but he's also in that game. But are we listing off? Do you want like list, or should I just like?
Yeah, just talk about what interests you, man.
I think well, actually, I wanted to start with one. Well, obviously, so I'm just going to name drop that and move on. Elden Ring. I'm super stoked for that. It's apparently from software. They're going to attempt this idea of like an open world, and like I think they say in quotation. So I'm really looking forward to. I think we're in this new generation where like it's just really interesting to see how people are trying to really up the idea of multiplayer and what that means. So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with the idea of an open world and the multiplayer aspect of it. And obviously it has oh my god, I'm going to forget his name, but is it
George R.R. Martin.
Thank you. George R.R. Martin's like backing behind that. I'm very just excited because to me it's kind of like how it seems like these different worlds are merging. So I'm looking forward to that. But I want to start with something that I don't know if any of you guys saw this one coming at all, but that trailer for Blair Witch, that caught me off guard.
No one saw that coming. No one anywhere.
Not at all.
Yeah. It looks really good. And I feel like I don't know if it was which one that came first, was it PT or the Resident Evil game, but like I feel like or one like ever since like there's been like sort of a bringing back of like first person horror, and as they say with today's technology, it's like the perfect time to start making horror games again. So I'm looking forward to whatever they bring. I hope to see more about that. Another one, just like to keep it on I think the things that like caught me off guard was I'm actually really excited for Minecraft Dungeons.
It looks really fun.
Yeah, it did actually look pretty cool.
Like Diablo meets Minecraft, and I was one of those guys that like I never actually played Minecraft the story. I just love building stuff. Surprise, artist here, right? But the dungeon thing, just like you guys said, it really seems to be. It just genuinely looks like a really awesome dungeon crawler with the Minecraft aesthetic. And again, I just love it when it seems to me like Minecraft just seemed like this thing where they could just keep going. And all of a sudden they come out with dungeons. I'm like, oh man, what else can they do? I'm just looking forward to it being a great game. And again, Trevor, let me know if you need me to stop because I'll just keep going.
I'm gonna let you keep going, man.
All right.
This podcast will be 4.5 hours long.
So yeah, it was like we were saying. I printed out a list of the entire E3.
Okay. We don't have to go that far.
But alphabetical order, every game announced through Z.
But no, I was actually surprised at how cool Minecraft Dungeons looked. Because I'm not like huge into Minecraft, but I actually like I still like the aesthetic, and I like what it does. I'm just not not creative enough, I guess. Well, I am in a written sense, but I can't think about like building stuff in a game like that, I guess. So it's cool that I think those games are cool for people that like virtual Legos and stuff. But it's not something I get into. But Dungeons looks like something I would totally play and get into.
Yeah, and this is completely speculation on my bit, and this is just like me nerding out a bit about it, and like being that it's a Minecraft game, I'm just like fingers crossed. I really hope that they'll do a thing where, like in Minecraft, you share your world. So I really hope they allow like everyone to be like, you can make your own dungeon and invite your friend to play your dungeon. It's almost like I hope it's like a Mario Maker, because to me I feel like that'd be like the coolest thing if you could just have, it's Minecraft, right? So you make your little world and people can like try to like get.
Well, it would be smart. It would. Yeah, it'd be smart. It kind of would keep the same sentiment that Minecraft has.
Yeah, and yeah, so I mean, I imagine, I think that's what's going to happen. So, unless anyone knows about that out there, but going towards like but there's so many also big AAA games. Like I'm going to go through the obvious ones like Final Fantasy VII. It was, to me, honestly, this E3 it was like a breath of relief to see that. I'm like, oh, there's like, it just felt like a dream until it was like, oh my god, this is actually real. Like,
Dude, I saw that. Like, I was so skeptical going in. I was like, I don't know about this. But then after I saw it, I was like, okay, you got me. You guys got me.
oh, dude, and like, I'm so I can't wait. I hope they drop a demo because like I really can't wait to try this. It seems like they're really mixing the ability of like it's turn based, but there's still a lot of like mobility occurring, and like I just couldn't really wrap my hand around until like I guess I get my hands on it. So, and the game looks fantastic, and I think we talked about this in one podcast. I think you said, Kent, where I think like they went for the thing. I think you made a joke about, but like they're literally going to do what they did with the first one, which to me is like another full circle thing, where like to achieve the first game, they had to put on like a few discs. So they're like, I guess what they thought at Square Enix was like, yeah, to make this one, we're going to put on a bunch of discs as well because it's going to be humongous, apparently.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like at some point, they need to announce how that's actually going to work. I don't even know if they know how it's going to work yet.
So,
like the episodes.
They haven't said how many episodes it's going to be. They said that this is going to be the Midgar story, and then beyond that, they haven't really said what it's going to be past that. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally up for it. It looked freaking awesome, so I was really surprised.
And like I can only imagine the pressure these guys have. I feel like because like I'm sure they're very aware of their super diehard fans and everything. Like because I feel like especially with the legacy that a game like Final Fantasy VII and like there are many games like that, but it's one of those games like get to the situation where they're like we're gonna probably take who knows how many years to build all of that, but like they also have this chance to really do this like if that's what they say is true. I mean, I feel like this game could be being made until like what, like the end of or like midway through the next generation of console.
You're going to be 60 by the time it finishes.
I know, man. I'll be like talking to, yeah, I'll just be like a head in Futurama being like, I remember when I had a body and they announced it.
That'll be a good conversation.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to finish on PS4, that's for sure. It's going to be finished on PS5.
Yeah. And last thing, I'm sure someone else was going to say, but I just want to say, Keanu Reeves, that was amazing. That's all.
Yeah, he sort of stole the show.
Yeah, it blows my mind how excited people were about that. I mean, it was awesome. Coming off John Wick, Keanu Reeves is a total badass, but...
And like, what was it? I just feel like what's crazy was like, you know, you think something like that would have gotten like leaked, like because I feel like a few things were leaked just before E3, but I'm like that one was like no one knew. So like at the end when the guy just like even like I feel like it's like I had no idea he was talking, and then his face came on screen. I'm like, oh my god, he's talking. It's Keanu, dude. I'm like.
It's especially impressive considering that like a huge amount of leaks are from basically non-game industry people. Like the number of times games have been leaked because an actor or actress or voice actor or voice actress listed on their credits a year before it's out. That's happened so many times to this point. But it just goes to show that, Keanu Reeves or maybe his agent or maybe a combination of the two, whatever, actually kind of has an understanding of what they're doing with games, which is very nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was like you said, it really, or like one of you guys said, it was like it felt like in a way like it's a show stealer right there. It's one of those highlights.
Definitely, for sure. So for me, I think the one that I want to mention that no one else has mentioned was Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
That game looked fucking cool.
I don't trust it. How many times has a Watch Dog trailer looked amazing and then the game just been like, okay.
Yeah, but two was pretty good. Two.
You're crazy, man.
I thought 2 was pretty good, but 3, I mean, man, you can be an old woman spy, Kent.
That doesn't make a game. That's an interesting part of an overall game, but they really need to improve the game, like the core gameplay, for me to jump on board.
Yeah, it made me more interested in it. though. So
it is a really cool feature. I will definitely concede that. Like, if the rest of the game is really polished up nicely, and that feature works really well, then that is a really awesome feature.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm definitely optimistic about it. Like I want to see, I want to play it, I want to mess around with it, that sort of thing. So I want to see what it's all about. So hopefully I'm not disappointed, but I'm excited.
I also hope that.
I'm with you, Trevor. I'm really excited for that. I feel like, again, Grant, like if everything like you guys said is true, it just feels like this could be the one that really seems to like solidify what like Watchdog is trying to be. But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, it differentiates it a little bit from, like, Ubisoft has really gotten kind of into that whole, all their games are that open world, kind of similar style of game overall. And Watch Dogs, at least for me up to this point, hasn't really had its like unique part. Like Assassin's Creed is unique in the fact that it's generally like set in the past. It's, there's no guns, it's not future or current. Division has a little more of the kind of loot and shoot aspect, so like that's kind of more its defining feature. Ghost Recon has a little more of its kind of, squad-based gameplay, and Watch Dogs, at least up until this point, hasn't really had its one thing that you go, oh yeah, okay, so it's that open world gameplay formula, but what is its kind of trademark feature? And if it goes well, I think this could be its trademark feature and sets it apart. And like you said, like if they nail it, at least for me, I'll finally be like, all right, this is Watch Dogs. Like, this is what I wanted from the first iteration. They finally got it together for me, and then I'll be excited to play it and kind of jump into that franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks cool, and hopefully it actually is cool. So we will see. So Kent, what games did you play?
What games did I play?
What games did you play, and what did you like coming out of it?
All right, so I'll start. I'll go with the ones I played. I didn't actually have a chance to play that many because the lines were absurd.
Yeah.
One game that really wasn't on my radar at all, but I had a chance to play it at the Xbox booth, was an indie game called Star Renegades. And I think it's a roguelite kind of semi-tactical RPG. So it's kind of classical RPG style combat. But then when the combat's finished, you're on this overworld map where you're kind of exploring and gathering resources and doing different things. And I had a chance to sit down there at the Xbox booth and play through up till kind of the first boss with I believe she was their community manager. And it was just a really fun game. Like it had a lot of good ideas. The combat was really enjoyable. It was a lot more tactical and kind of strategic than normal turn-based combat. So you had to juggle kind of your health, your shields, at the same time as trying to damage the enemy's armor down that you could actually impact their health. So there was a lot more to it than the normal just kind of attack or use spells until the enemy's dead, and I really appreciated that because, as you guys know, I'm all about my strategy.
That is true.
And it was especially memorable. Funny enough, it was a bug that made it even more memorable for me, where I got to the last boss of the demo there, and it actually glitched out to where there were two enemies in the fight. I defeated one of them, and then the second guy just stopped acting. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy. Like, he's not even going to attack me. And so I'm whittling away his health. And at one point I made a joke where I'm like, watch, he's going to wait until I have him down to almost no health and then just wipe my entire team. And of course, that's exactly what happened. I almost defeated him, and all of a sudden he like reactivated himself. Whatever the glitch was got resolved, and he just wiped my entire team. And I was like, "You are kidding me!" But yeah, it's a game I'm now really looking forward to. I think it's one of the big batch of Game Pass or ID at Xbox Game Pass titles that they showed off. So I'm looking forward to when that drops and kind of getting a rematch at the boss there.
Yeah, I'll totally check that out.
I had a brief chance to check out Phoenix Point, which is the new game from the guy who created XCOM. And, I mean, it's amazing. It's right up my alley. It's exactly the type of game I want to play.
Yeah, that's coming out pretty soon, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. It might also be a Game Pass release. I know most of the ID at Xbox stuff they were showing were Game Pass releases as well, but either way, that's a game that I'll jump on immediately. You know me, I love my tactical squad RPGs, so
yeah.
So those were two of the ones that I played that I had a really fun time with. I didn't get a chance to play most of the bigger titles, so like Gears or Final Fantasy VII. Like most of the big things had a huge line. I did get a chance very briefly. I kind of jumped in the middle of the demo, so I didn't get the full experience, but I got a little bit of hands-on time with Biomutant, and it was really good. The small bit I played was really fun. I'm looking forward to kind of the full game and seeing where they go with that, because it seems like it might capture that. I really like those kind of not quite AAA, like kind of AA mid-tier games that end up being like a really surprising gem of a game. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that might fit really well into that, because the combat was really fun. It seemed like it had a lot to it. Like, you know, I didn't get hands-on with all of it, but by tiny glimpse, seems like there's a lot to the game with the mutations and everything. So that was really cool. And then one other game, it's not new or anything, but I had a chance to get some hands-on time with is it Destroy All Humans? The remaster? Yeah. I think it's a remaster.
Yeah, it's a remaster, yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously it's pretty much the same game as before, but it played really well. It looked great. And it's actually one of those franchises that I missed the first time around, but it's kind of one of those cult favorites now. And so I'm looking forward to getting a chance to play through it. Just because I don't know why. I'm sure I was just playing something else at the time, but having missed it the first time around, this is a good chance to jump in for me.
Yeah, I remember those games being pretty fun.
I like the humor. I really like games that mix kind of humor in with the gameplay. Which actually, here's a segue to a really niche thing that I believe got announced. It might have not been at the show. It might have been at the Inside Xbox stream they did shortly after. Mm-hmm. But they announced that Armed and Dangerous was coming out as one of the last back compat games from the original Xbox.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that game. Like, it's a pretty solid third-person shooter from what I remember, with some really silly, fun kind of weapons. But what I really remember from the game is it was just absolutely hilarious, like up there with Psychonauts' level of humor. And so I'm really looking forward to checking that out again.
Nice. All right. Anything else that you can think of that excited you?
I didn't get any hands-on or a chance to really check it out or anything, but Cyberpunk, you knew it was going to be shown off going in, and I've been excited for it for a while. Just continuing to be excited for it. Like, CD Projekt Red has definitely proven themselves to be able to make some pretty amazing games. So looking forward to that. And then I guess the last thing that I'd want to mention, I'll admit it's not really for me, but like seeing it announced for the people that are going to be so excited was awesome. But the surprising kind of show of the flight simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like, not my game, not my jam.
Same,
but
yeah.
I know people like my friend Eli is crazy into like the Forza games because of just how realistic of a simulation it is, like the simulation driving. Mm-hmm. And he works actually in kind of the aerospace industry. And so I know he was super stoked to hear about that. But that's just a series that I know it's a really niche following, but those people absolutely love those games. And just looking at it, it was stunning. It was one of the most gorgeous reveals ever. And really neat kind of thing is that they're using Azure to, I guess, power I think it's the weather, like kind of real-time weather for the destinations where you're flying, which is just kind of a really neat use of technology and a neat use of kind of the Azure cloud services. So yeah, like I said, it's if it ends up being accessible maybe on Game Pass or PC or something, it's something I'd love to check out. But it's not for me. But I'm glad it got announced. I think it did a good job of. And in general, Microsoft did a really good job of kind of showcasing games for everyone instead of a very set, like the kind of hardcore gamers. I think they showed enough that almost anyone can find something that they're interested in, which was a cool way to showcase.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, it was a good show overall.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was there was a lot of good stuff shown, a lot of stuff to be excited about, a lot of stuff to want to spend non-existent dollars on. But yeah, I think that's about it for this week, guys.
Yeah. Do you want to say our numbers have been growing for this podcast, and I wanted to say thank you to all the people that subscribe and listen. That's we didn't really know what to expect coming out with it, and just seeing kind of the numbers level out, and now we're starting to actually see kind of an uptick and some steady growth. It is really awesome. So thank you guys for listening, and hopefully we can continue providing something that you like, whether it's Moudy getting excited about From Software games or
breathe.
Yeah. Whatever it is we're doing right. So yeah, thank you to everyone listening.
Yeah, we absolutely appreciate everybody listening that can. If you wanted to submit any questions for the show, you can feel free to do that. Social media, Winterborn Games is the email address for that. And if we have enough questions, maybe we'll do just a show of questions at some point, at least the ones that we can answer right now. But we definitely appreciate everybody checking out. If there's any other platforms or anything that you would like to see the show on that we haven't explored or put the show out on, let us know, because I'll look into it. If there's a place that you'd rather listen to us on, that sort of thing. Other than that, thanks. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now you can. I'm talking to people.
Damn.
And with that, I want to thank everybody for coming on the podcast today. Moudy, Kent, Jack, and Boo.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
And we'll be back again next week. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.